Oh, se non faccio 40 almeno colpa tua, eh.
Sembra di fare kitesurf, non di andare in moto.
So today we did the setup change that we discussed yesterday, which is lifting the bike by 4 millimeters, and we got rid of that problem that I have felt the front closing. But now I struggle to corner, so it's a totally different bike, really. But yeah, we still have to find the right setup. Okay, now we're gonna change the rear tire. I used the Metzler K1. Now we're gonna use the K0 new, and I hope to go faster. Comunque, oh, dato che il buon Gilardoni ha pensato bene di farsi tirare da Luca Salvadori, io oggi mi faccio tirare da Bernardi. Oh, se non faccio 40 almeno colpa tua, eh. No, certo.
Meno,
And another thing that I experienced for the first time today is the strong wind. There is a really strong wind, which is in the opposite direction of the main straight. So on the main straight, the bike wheelies. On the other straight, you always miss the braking point, because if you brake where you're used to brake, you go wide. I could have never imagined that you go that much wide with the back wind. Also in the last 3 corners, I struggled to find the corner because of the wind. That's crazy, really. That's crazy.
Spingi. Saltaci sopra.
E com'è?
Te lo dico, ho tolto il bollino apposta.
Maledetto, adesso non c'è più scuse.
Secondo me è la 6C0 nuova.
No.
Bastardo.
Eccolo.
Madonna, se lo fai 36.
Ma te al tramonto freni sul cordolo, ho visto.
Anche al carro freni sul cordolo.
Sì.
Ma tiene?
No,
Ottimo.
che li biondetti freno sul cordolo.
Infatti si è visto.
Dovete sapere che quest'uomo è riuscito a spezzare a metà uno stivale dainese in carbonio.
E non tutti ce la fanno.
La moto mi hanno detto che è diventata una mini GP.
Si compressa. Però sei fortunato a non essere rifatto niente.
Sì, alla grande.
Guardate qua, guardate con cosa girava.
15 euro è tuo.
Mi dai 15 euro?
No, 15 euro me la paghi, te la monto anche.
So, I take the chance of Bernardi's crash to talk to you about the Dainese Boots, which have some very interesting things inside. This is the boot that I use, which is the same that they use in MotoGP, which is the same that you can buy. And before the lockdown, I went to Dainese to see how they make the helmets and the suits, and I also saw how they made the boots and the gloves. And the technology behind this is truly amazing. The first thing that you can notice is that these boots go inside the suit, compared to the other boots that go on the suit. And this has been introduced for the first time in 1997, so it's already 23 years. And there are many reasons behind this choice. First of all, look at this. Look at the comparison between this one that goes inside and this one that goes outside. This one is smaller. Smaller means lighter. And why is lightness that important? Because look at this. I couldn't find anything smarter to express this idea, so I'm using this sock. So if a rider falls maybe for a high side, it flies in the air and it probably starts to rotate. So when you are rotating, the parts of your body that are far from your center of rotation, which are head, hands, and feet, gain a high speed, which means they gain a high kinetic energy. So if this is your body rotating, so this is your foot, if the foot is lightweight, the impact is not that violent. But if the foot is heavy, the impact is violent, because the heavier the boot, the higher the kinetic energy. So this is why a smaller boot is safer, because it's lighter. Another reason behind this is for the aerodynamic. You can see if this goes inside the suit, there are no parts that can disturb the airflow. Now, what does a boot need to protect you from? The first thing you can think about is the impact or the sliding, which is true. We will see it in a few seconds. But the most important thing is the distortion. And Dainese made a very important development on the distortion. So they developed the Axial distortion control system, which is this. Can you see it? This is a mix of carbon and aramid fiber, which has been studied to protect the foot from this rotation and this rotation, while it still allows you to make this movement. And why is that important? Because with a system like this one, you don't even realize that you have it equipped, because your foot is free to do the natural movement, which is this, when you push on the pegs or change gears or just walk, but cannot do the unnatural movements, which might be dangerous for your ankle. Also, the fact that your foot is free to move makes sure that if you fall and, for example, land like this, you are free to move the ankle. Because if it's locked like this, if you crash like this, the impact would be absorbed by the fingers and by the knee, which might break. So this is one of the most important protection inside the boot. And it's crazy to see how when I went to Dainese, they showed me this very old boot which didn't have this system, and look at that. Look at how soft it is. You have, with that kind of boot, which is tens of years old, you had no protection for distortion. Obviously, apart from the distortion, these boots are meant to protect you from the impacts. So basing to the data collected during the years, and this is why that room inside Dainese is so fascinating, because you can see the evolution of boots, gloves and suits during the years. So Dainese, after every crash in World Championship, they collected the material to study it, to see where the impacts were more frequent. So in the most frequent area, they put some very strong reinforcements. And also look at this. Look at how inside the boot you have the shin protection, and look at how every single component of Dainese is meant to integrate with the other components. Because if I put the boot inside the suit, look at this. The shin protection of the boot continues with the shin protection on the suit. These two are made to be as one. Last but not least, these boots are meant to protect you from the sliding. So it's made of leather here, titanium here, because the titanium, it does not grip. And it has been studied to be as smooth as possible. You see how there are no edges. Everything is smooth. This is because no edges means no chance to hook on something, and hooking is very dangerous. And look, for example, at these boots, how they worn on the tip, and how the inner protection saved the rider fingers. Also, the material have changed during the years. Because, for example, this part, which needs to be rubber because you need to grip on the pegs, has been made with a special rubber super resisting to cutting. It's truly amazing to see how much technology and study there is inside a boot. And this is the reason why Bernardi, after such a horrible crash where he destroyed the bike and he destroyed all his equipment, was not injured at all. That was thanks to the Dainese equipment.
sto vento fa paura, ragazzi. Sembra di fare kitesurf, non di andare in moto.
Ma non so solo io ricoglionito.
No, prima eravamo lì sul curvone, sono entrato dentro, a un certo punto non so che cazzo è successo, ha incominciato a portarmi largo, ha incominciato a sbandierare così, ho preso cordolo verde, ho detto minchia, qua se non riesco a fermarmi finisco al cocorico direttamente in discoteca con tutta la moto.
Uguale, entro al curvone, a un certo punto sento uno schiaffo che mi porta fuori e io lì inizio a pelare un attimo il gas, arrivo sul verde e inizio a far così.
Sì, bruttissimo. Anche perché ho detto lì, quinta, non voglio chiudere, mi sono violentato il cervello per non chiudere il gas. Non ci sono riuscito, ho fatto proprio appena così, ho detto minchia, avrò esagerato. Invece no, figa,
no.
Boom. Che cazzo è successo, via?
This was the least expensive crash in my whole life. I didn't even scratch the fairings. Look at that. Brand new. I just scratched this one, the protector, this one, and I broke a handlebar. That's it. I don't know why I crashed. I mean, I know, okay. I was at full lean. I accelerate 30%, and probably that was too much. Considering that I was in first gear and we had a lot of power, so yeah, I was lucky that I didn't have a high side, because at that speed the high sides are the most dangerous, because when you are going slow and you make a high side, it's bad. And the thing that is annoying me the most is the wind. Okay, every time I heard the rider saying, oh, when there is the wind you have to brake earlier because the wind pushes you, I always thought it was bullshit, okay? It's the wind, come on. You weigh 260 kilos, you with the bike. Today I realized that it's not bullshit. On the straight, the bike wheelies because of the wind. On the other straight, I keep going wide because the wind is pushing me. And the hardest part is the curvone. I was entering in curvone and I was doing a good line, and suddenly I felt the wind pushing me out. Because the wind is exactly coming 90 degrees from the right side. So I went wide at 240 and I started to lose the front. That was bad. That was really bad. I'm still scared about that, but I didn't crash. I mean, I crashed, but later, not there. And there is where you destroy the bike when you crash. My friend Luca crashed last year. He completely destroyed the BMW Ep.5 race. I'm sad because I didn't improve the lap time, even if I had new tires, because I made one mistake, one overtake, another mistake, and then I crashed. But now the tire is still great, so I hope I can finally improve.
Oh, vuoi un manubrio nuovo?
Va bene. Fai vedere quanto vuoi?
20 euro.
Ti do 2 pastiglie mai pista.
Va bene.
Vuoi?
Sì, tanto giri piano.
A posto.
Consumi neanche. Vuoi un manubrio? Nuovo. Mai pista.
Vuoi vedere quello che ho storto io con le mani?
Sì. Cioè tu praticamente sei caduto sulla moto e l'hai
Nell'high side, quando ha preso e ha spinto, con la mano l'ho piegato a 90 gradi.
Mamma mia.
the situation. We all decided to ride during the last session. We did 3 laps and now everybody is here. Stop in the box. So, no, not at all. Undrivable. Beh. This was definitely the most undrivable session that I ever had. Really. The wind was the most annoying thing ever. Every time I was braking at Quercia, sometimes I was in, some others I was too long. The thing is that you don't know how much wind is pushing you. And it's not constant wind, it's gusty wind. So you don't know where to brake. And then you go in Curvone, you don't know if you're gonna stay in or not. You go to the carro, you don't know if you're gonna stay in or not. And then we have the heat, 64 degrees Celsius on the ground. And the thing is that being the tarmac new, when it gets that hot, some oil or some things may come out and make it difficult to ride. And that was the most difficult thing. Many times in the fast corners, like Carro, I felt the front doing this, and that was scary, that was dangerous. You are at 200 there, if you crash you destroy the bike. I don't know. The thing is that the wind is still pushing, the heat is still boiling. So I don't know if I'm gonna do the last session. It doesn't make sense.
Abbiamo qualcun altro che conferma che oggi la pista era inguidabile.
Sì, mamma mia, guarda le piante come fanno.
Sì, no. Io
no,
sentivo...
ma certe folate di vento pazzesche. Il gazebo, c'era un gazebo in fondo e
volato.
Sì, sì.